Chadraker. I head PA's Innovation Service. So before we address what sparks innovation in an organisation, I think there's a need to define what innovation is. I'm sure there have been different perspectives shared through this series which have helped frame that for the water sector. So here's my thinking. One of the critical points is around the perception of innovation. We often come up against the belief that innovation is whiz-bang, futuristic, conceptual, not practical, operational or pragmatic, dealing with the here and now, and definitely not often considered to be within the risk appetite of traditional organisations. So when you're focused on delivering a product or service, particularly in a regulated environment such as water, I think the perceived risk around innovation is that it's unknown, it's immeasurable and impractical. Innovation isn't what keeps the lights, or perhaps in water's case, the taps running, so it might be dismissed. I think we need to challenge that perception. Innovation can be found anywhere, and especially in the practical. So here's an example from our experience. The O2 Arena wanted to find out if fans were enjoying the concerts. A lot of people might suggest running a survey, using an app to connect with customers. So that's one great idea. But we recommended that they measured the volume of the roar at concerts using aerial microphones. Because that solution offered live data, it was covertly captured to show the organic response from a whole audience, rather than a considered one from those who chose to respond. And the microphones still hang in the O2 today. To me, that's innovation. So to answer the question, I believe the spark for innovation lies in the challenges, or maybe problems that we face every day in our organisations. The need to find a solution is the spark. Innovation comes about when alternative solutions are encouraged and enabled. It's the way of finding the best solution to your challenges, and it relies on a culture which allows your people to move away from the tried and tested to deliver something better to fix the problems that you currently face. And organisations, whatever their sector, need to be ready and willing to be surprised by what comes back and to back that solution, if it's better than what's been in place before. So why is innovation so important now? What's so compelling about the wave of innovation we expect in the water sector is that it's mandated. When the regulator sets out its expectations to ramp up innovation in the sector, that's a definitive external spark. It represents a clear moment of change, an opportunity to deliver new thinking to old problems, and fundamentally the opening up of a new competitive landscape to grab hold of. PR19 has been emphatic in its advocacy of innovation and laid out clear parameters for a change. So, it must be meaningful. That's to say, innovation has to be connected to outcomes, which is great because it shifts the conversation from change for change's sake. We need to see what innovation has delivered. And that comes back to my point on problem solving. There are many challenges in the water sector: customer challenges, affordability, resilience, sustainability, environmental challenges. And there's not one innovation that's going to solve each of these distinct problems. Rather, it's like a pillar on which the best possible solutions to those problems can be uncovered, using the right tools, technologies and thinking to deliver a better network and a service. And it's not unexpected that now's the time for change in the sector. The world we live in is rapidly changing. Davos last week showed that on all fronts, commerce, technology, socioeconomics, equality, the environment, the world's in a state of flux. And this period of change and evolution is set to totally disrupt how we live and work. In fact, it's already happening. So take the rapid development of technology, artificial intelligence, deep learning, Internet of Things, data analytics, all of these offer new solutions to meet everyday challenges. Now more than ever, we can use technology to connect the physical world with the internet using sensors. In water, that means connection to and insight from thousands of miles of underground pipes. We can apply deep analytics to turn the massive amounts of new data into powerful new insights and intelligence. Commercial insights, customer insights, infrastructure insights, all of these are key to operating under the new PR19 requirements. We can improve the performance or the efficiency of our most critical physical assets. So imagine being able to combat issues such as leakage by accurately modelling the rate of decline and preventing failures on the network. Embedded IoT sensors, just as an example, are now all around us. We can see connected devices in everyday life through thermostats, TVs, Fitbits, fridges. So here's a few key stats. There are about 8 billion devices connected to the internet today. But by 2020, there are going to be about 50 to 75 billion devices connected. Companies will have spent $1.2 trillion on IoT by 2020. That's more than the GDP of Spain. And to use IoT as an example, and what you can do with it, we're currently working with Rentokil to connect all of their devices into an internet of mousetraps, meaning that they know in real time what's happening with each trap that they've deployed and whether they need to take action. These insights are so incredibly valuable, not just to catch more mice, but so they can offer a much better service to their customers and develop entirely new business models and revenue streams. Draw for yourself the parallels with the complex infrastructure networks which operate in water, and we start to see the potential. At an industrial level, maintenance of assets and infrastructure in rail, for example, is being revolutionised by condition-based monitoring sensors and drone surveillance. The way in which we're able to solve our problems is being innovated through technology. And the positive from all of this change is that we have many more tools to uncover and understand a problem, and then so many new ways to resolve them. As the water sector undergoes the biggest change since privatisation 30 years ago, this should be music to your ears. What's interesting is that whilst water companies have some work to do before they can become innovation leaders, innovation isn't new in your industry. Many suppliers are doing this already. Companies like Suez, GE and Xylem are now using smart technology to collect data from the network and using advanced analytics to optimise infrastructure and drive operational efficiencies. And we're working with Veolia Water Technologies to help them better understand their customer needs and turn those insights into innovative new digital services. So the real focus is now on water companies to follow suit, even outpace the supply chain. And for that, I've got 3 top tips. First, focus on the future. Whilst the default position may have been successful at times and less risky, it's not what your sector is focused to deliver on now. PR19 has brought with it a clear innovation agenda, so embrace this and look to the future with focus. That doesn't mean buying the latest gizmos and seeing how to fit them into your organisation. Innovation is also about incremental improvements, just as much as high-impact transient change. This is what helps innovation stick. The key is to set out the vision and ambition for your organisation in the future and commit to delivering that vision with purpose and resourcefulness. The spark for innovation will come from tackling the challenges you face whilst achieving those new future-focused goals. Second tip, foster an innovation culture. Innovation is a way of thinking, and as I've mentioned, it needs the right culture to nurture and develop it. The worst kind of innovation is superficial. As my colleague Fraser Bennett, our Chief Innovation Officer, says, innovation should be the white sliced bread of your organisation, and it should be baked into how your company approaches its day-to-day problems. So, identify and embrace your innovative thinkers. Allow them the chance to deliver and give them air cover when they're faced with resistance, or perhaps even when they fail. Not all of your people are going to be able to think innovatively, and that's okay. This isn't a case of changing your people, but changing the belief that what went before is best, just because it already exists. By defining what innovation is and giving people the opportunity to deliver it, and then rewarding it, you set your organisation up for success through innovation. And this is a deal breaker. Without the right culture and the right understanding of how to apply real innovation, the water sector will risk being innovative in name alone. My last top tip is to ask yourself 3 questions. It will help you measure your current appetite for innovation and challenge you to think differently. First, how wide do you cast your net? So when you're looking for new ideas or advice or insight, who do you ask? Normally, we trust people who we empathise with or with whom we have something in common. Innovation, however, doesn't necessarily happen under your nose. It thrives on dissonance and diversity, so cast your net wide. Secondly, when was the last time you went out of your way to mix things up? In many well-established organisations, the desire for change is limited. The leadership challenge rests on our resistance to change a system that gives us power. But we must change things. Water must change. So let's do it with positivity, measure and boldness. Go for it. When was the last time you rewarded innovation? People are complex, diverse and maybe sophisticated creatures. But I think there's some universal truths around reward that help advocate, promote and nurture certain behaviours. To put it simply, if innovation isn't rewarded, it won't flourish. People don't like continuing to push an agenda that seems futile, nor will they want to put effort into work that goes nowhere. So even if it's just a quick nod of approval, reward innovation, it will pay off. So finally, don't wait, innovate. Thanks for watching. It's been my pleasure to share my thoughts with you as the water sector dives into innovation.